The reason quality is paramount now is because of revenue collection. If you look at revenue cycle, you have to actually meet quality measures. For CMS, for most commercial carriers, they will actually have that in their contracts as far as reimbursement. And most importantly, the consumer. The consumer wants quality health care, and they'll actually go to where they can get it.
In this day and age, many hospitals, especially in small and rural areas, are closing. So it's very important to be compliant with law and regulation with an attention to quality and outcomes so that hospitals can remain viable and provide the best service that they can to their patients.
I think the biggest challenge that hospitals face is, where do I start? When you look at quality metrics for anesthesia, you've got to have a place to start. We, as clinical colleagues, actually bring to you a boilerplate quality program, very robust, and that program, number one, will get you started, and then we'll tailor it to what your personal needs are.
One of the biggest challenges hospitals face is a simple understanding of what compliance actually is. In anesthesia, our rules and regulations related to the practice of anesthesia are actually fairly easy and straightforward, but educating staff is always a challenge, and guaranteeing compliance is also a challenge.
If you look at patient safety and quality, there's a very important concept. Anesthesia now is extremely safe. If you look at the anesthesia safety movement that started in the 1980s, there was a 25-fold decrease in anesthesia mortality. So it's pretty easy to actually put someone to sleep and have them wake up. What's really important is, how do they do afterwards? How quickly do they get out of the hospital? How quickly do they return to work? And how was their experience?
Patient outcomes and patient experience are very important related to compliance and regulation. Most of the regulations were written with patient safety in mind, especially the ones that were more recently released. So compliance with these regulations definitely improves patient safety.
Every hospital wants a standard quality program. There is no standard quality program. Each hospital has specific quality needs, and you have to assess those, and you have to figure out what your metrics are for that hospital. There are some national benchmarks that are available, but they're national, and you have to look locally also for your standards of quality. It's extremely important that an anesthesia department has a culture of quality. A culture of quality tells me that each provider understands why we're here and that the patient comes first. And not only are they taking really good care of the patient, but they're actually continually improving the quality process.
Every hospital has to comply with rules and regulations set forth by the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services in order to be licensed, also known as CMS. These rules and regulations pretty much apply to all hospitals uniformly, so the compliance program is very uniform from hospital to hospital. The key to compliance is knowing what the compliance standards are, but there's a second layer in knowing how the standards are actually surveyed. So you can know a standard but not be aware of how it's surveyed. So part of what I do is educate our staff on how a surveyor will actually survey this particular standard. The number of standards that apply to anesthesia are relatively short, so the education is relatively straightforward.
Leadership is the cornerstone of an anesthesia department that is quality driven. Our leaders not only educate our providers on what they should be doing as far as improving process, but also they lead by example.
It's important for hospitals to have a good leader in the Department of Anesthesia. This keeps everyone's focus on compliance, which is patient safety.
CCI is a great partner for clients that are looking for someone who truly delivers quality. A lot of the other companies out there have quality programs that look great, but the delivery isn't there. We actually will have a good quality program.
CCI provides a unique opportunity for hospitals to partner with an anesthesia group. This type of practice in anesthesia sometimes separates a department from the hospital, and we provide that integration. We're always on call. We're always available to our staff 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we enjoy providing that service.